Holy shit. He said what?
Trevor Engelson's, Meghan's first husband, previously had this operation, which would mean, of course, that she was unable to give birth to a child herself.
She will find a way to bounce past him to some other taker who might actually just love the guy. She will take her royal kids, who can still go by prince and princess, and find the billionaire.
Only person who can really clear this up outside of Meghan herself is Trevor Engelson, who until this point has kept a total dignified silence, despite the fact that Meghan treated him so appallingly, even sending back their engagement ring via the post.
The situation behind the scenes is reportedly spiraling fast for Meghan Markle, and this time it's not just quiet whispers or subtle tension. It's being described as something way more intense and explosive. After keeping a low profile for years when it comes to her past relationship, her ex-husband, Trevor Engelson, has suddenly stepped forward and started talking. And what he's saying is shaking the image Meghan has worked so hard to build over the years. This isn't just a small crack in her public persona. It's starting to look like a full-on breakdown of the narrative she carefully controlled for so long. Sources close to the situation claim Meghan has gone into full crisis mode, and not in a calm, strategic way either. It's loud, emotional, and chaotic behind closed doors. People are saying she's been raising her voice at her team, demanding answers, questioning loyalty, and even throwing around threats of legal action as she tries to figure out how this story managed to break out into the public. For someone known to keep a tight grip on her image and every headline tied to her name, this moment is hitting hard, and insiders describe it as nothing short of a meltdown unfolding in real time. Trevor didn't just casually speak up either. He reportedly dropped what some are calling a truth bomb, and the impact is being felt all the way from Hollywood circles.
That information came direct from Meghan's ex-husband, Trevor Engelson, via an intermediary. And obviously, Trevor Engelson is a very successful TV producer. He now has his own family. He's very happy. He hasn't spoken on the record.
He's moved on. He has put Meghan behind him. He probably is not interested in people bringing up his past relationship. He has 3 children now with his new wife.
He must have been so devastated at the time with the way that he was treated, but actually he dodged a bullet. He has his dignity. He's still working in the industry. I mean, we obviously know via Tom Bower that Meghan Markle returned her engagement ring to Trevor Engelson via the post. But the fact that you're actually so blatant in terms of the fact that you want this famous royal, and specifically you want Prince Harry, because you know my reporting on Meghan Markle's early life in London, Angela, made it very clear that she was looking for a celebrity.
To the Montecito mansion, rumours flying around suggest that Meghan's polished PR image is starting to show cracks, and people are beginning to question whether the version of her the world sees is the full story or just a carefully edited highlight reel. The tension is building, and there's a growing sense that something long hidden is now pushing its way into the spotlight, whether she likes it or not. And when Meghan first caught sight of the headlines tied to Trevor's interview, insiders claim her reaction was immediate and intense. No hesitation, no calm processing, just straight emotion. She reportedly stormed into a private meeting space, slammed the door with so much force it echoed through the halls, and launched into a heated outburst that caught everyone off guard. The energy in the room shifted instantly, and what followed was described as a full-on verbal explosion aimed directly at her team. Witnesses say she didn't hold back at all.
That Meghan Markle really did expect Harry to be a billionaire when she met him. She was incredibly disappointed to find out he's only worth a couple million, and she's going to have to actually work and hawk these jams and jellies and dog biscuits to have the lifestyle that she wants.
She married for money. It's very clear. She bagged the elephant. She was thrilled. She became a, quote, princess.
Well, you can...
It was planned from the beginning. She denied being interested in the royal family, which she totally was. I know someone who knows the ex-husband who said she had a vision board with Prince Harry on it.
Before they met?
Yes. And she wants to
That's
pretend.
impressive. You got to admit that is impressive.
She nailed it.
Calling out her press staff and accusing them of failing to keep things under control. One insider even shared that she shouted, "He was supposed to be silenced forever. How did this get out?" A line that reportedly left everyone in the room frozen and unsure how to respond. The pressure was so intense that some staff members quietly slipped out just to avoid being caught in the middle of the situation, showing just how serious and uncomfortable things had become. To Meghan, this wasn't just another negative headline or gossip piece. It reportedly felt like a deep betrayal, something personal that cut through all the layers of control she's used to maintaining. And by the time midday rolled around, her legal team was already in motion, preparing to respond aggressively and shut things down before they spread further. Multiple media outlets were reportedly hit with cease and desist letters, warning them to stop publishing or even discussing Trevor Engelson's statements. Behind the scenes, Meghan is said to be pushing hard for even stronger legal action, including the possibility of a gag order, even though Trevor never signed any non-disclosure agreement when their marriage ended. That detail alone has caught the attention of legal observers, with some pointing out that such an aggressive response raises more questions than it answers, because if the claims were completely false...
Megyn Kelly reveals that Meghan Markle married for money, that she planned it all from the beginning, and the vision board with Prince Harry on it was revealed to her by someone who knew Trevor Engelson.
But this woman is nothing but a publicity whore. It's a term of art. We broke the news that she had Prince Harry on her vision board when she was younger. That was her goal. #goal, to marry Prince Harry. So it was all about getting the title. She's done that now. Now she's just stuck with this depressed ginger who has absolutely no family, no friends, and no money. This was not part of the plan.
A simple denial might have been enough, but this level of urgency feels different and people are noticing. The whole situation is starting to give off a sense of panic rather than control, and insiders say it's not just about what's already been revealed. It's about what could still come out next. That fear is reportedly driving the intensity of her reaction, making it clear that this situation has hit a nerve deeper than expected. And for someone who has always been extremely focused on shaping her public image, this kind of unpredictability is exactly what she tries to avoid at all costs. Control has always been a key part of Meghan's approach to her public life, but this interview seems to have cut straight through that polished surface. Instead of seeing it as just another challenge to manage, insiders claim she's taking it as a direct personal attack, not just from Trevor, but from anyone who questions her version of events. The stakes feel higher, and the emotional reaction is reflecting that pressure in a big way. What makes things even more intense is that Meghan reportedly doesn't believe Trevor is acting alone in this situation. According to sources, she's convinced there's something bigger going on behind the scenes, and that the timing of his interview is not random at all. She has allegedly told people close to her that she suspects royal insiders may have played a role in pushing this story forward to damage her upcoming projects.
He studied him. Now, if you do study him carefully, you can see he's very vulnerable, and you can see that he's yearning to get married. He told me that he really wanted children, but, the time hasn't come yet, but he really wants to be a father because he loves being with children.
I mean, she flirts openly with other men. I remember when she was at that tennis match, looked like she was flirting with Serena Williams' husband, like with her skirt, and just how she just looks at men. Harry, it doesn't matter.
In her view, the palace, or the firm, is still influencing events from afar, pulling strings in ways the public doesn't fully see. One friend even claimed Meghan sees Trevor speaking out as part of a larger coordinated effort against her, reinforcing her belief that she's being targeted on multiple fronts. But not everyone is convinced by that perspective, and critics are pushing back hard. Some are calling this reaction predictable, arguing that Meghan is shifting the narrative again to position herself as the victim while avoiding deeper questions about her past. They say this pattern isn't new, and that it's another example of redirecting attention instead of addressing the core issue directly. And as the pressure builds, her response has reportedly been to step away from the spotlight entirely. In a surprising move, Meghan has cancelled several high-profile appearances, including a major women's business summit in Los Angeles and a planned charity Q&A session in New York. According to PR insiders, her team is scrambling to manage the situation, and emotionally, She's not in a place where she can confidently face public questions right now. The concern is clear. Any appearance would immediately turn into a discussion about Trevor, and there's no prepared response ready to handle that level of scrutiny. But stepping back isn't having the calming effect she may have hoped for. Instead, it's creating even more speculation. Rather than appearing composed and in control, her silence is being interpreted by some as something more serious, even suspicious. Critics are saying that if there was nothing to hide, she would address the situation directly instead of avoiding it. And while she remains out of sight, new claims are continuing to surface, adding even more layers to the story. One of the more unusual allegations comes from a former staffer who claims Meghan has a private section inside her Montecito home, jokingly referred to as the Rage Room. According to this source, the space is soundproofed and designed so she can release frustration without anyone hearing it. The claim goes further, suggesting the room is set up with furniture that allows her to shout, throw things, and let emotions out without consequence. Just recently, it's been alleged that she broke 2 vases and knocked over a lamp after seeing her name trending online under hashtags like Trevor Tell-All and Meghan Exposed. Whether these claims are true or exaggerated, they are fueling the narrative that things behind closed doors are far from calm. While all this unfolds, Prince Harry's reaction is being described as noticeably different, and that difference is raising eyebrows. Insiders say he's not reacting with the same level of intensity, but instead appears shaken and quietly frustrated by the situation. There's talk that he's been spending more time away from Meghan within their home, keeping distance from the tension that's building. One source shared that Harry feels like every time things start to settle, another issue surfaces, and this time it's coming from Meghan's past in a way he can't control or deflect. Unlike royal controversies tied to the institution, this situation is personal and unpredictable, making it harder for him to step in and manage the narrative. Perhaps the most telling detail is that Harry has reportedly told Meghan to stop blaming the palace for everything, signaling that even he may be reaching his limit. That kind of statement suggests a shift in how he's viewing the situation, and it hints at growing strain between them. According to those close to the couple, the emotional gap is becoming more noticeable, and the pressure is starting to show in their dynamic. It's a sharp contrast to the image Meghan has built since stepping away from royal life, one centered on empowerment, mental health awareness, and authenticity. Now, with everything unfolding at once, that image is being tested in a way that's hard to control, and the spotlight isn't going anywhere anytime soon. Trevor's explosive tell-all didn't just stir the pot, it flipped the whole table over and forced people to question everything they thought they knew about Meghan Markle. What started as one man finally speaking out has now turned into a full-blown public re-evaluation. And the version of Meghan he described is not lining up with the image she spent years building. He painted her as emotionally distant, highly calculated, and deeply focused on chasing fame, a portrayal that clashes hard with the narrative she's been promoting for so long, and people are noticing the difference in a big way. Social media didn't just react, it erupted. Thousands upon thousands of posts started flooding timelines, with people saying they're finally seeing signs they once ignored or brushed off. It's like a switch flipped overnight. And suddenly those red flags people used to debate are being discussed openly, loudly, and with way more confidence. Even some of her longtime supporters are stepping back, hitting pause and asking serious questions about how much of Meghan's polished public image is actually real and how much might have been carefully performed all along. Old interviews, podcast appearances, and even documentary clips are now being rewatched with a completely different mindset. Moments that once seemed genuine are now being picked apart frame by frame, word by word, as people try to spot inconsistencies or hidden meanings. Her credibility isn't just being questioned, it's taking visible hits as more viewers approach her past statements with skepticism instead of admiration. And this shift isn't small, it's growing by the hour as more voices join in. But if Meghan believes this wave of attention is going to die down anytime soon, insiders are saying she might need to rethink that completely, because according to sources close to Trevor, this is far from over. He's not done speaking, not even close. In fact, the first interview might have only scratched the surface of what he's been holding back all these years. People close to Trevor are claiming he intentionally held back some of the most intense parts of their relationship out of respect, choosing not to reveal everything right away. But now that restraint may be fading fast, and there are strong whispers that he's seriously considering doing a second, even more revealing interview, or going all in with a full memoir that lays everything out in detail. And if that happens, the current situation could escalate to an entirely new level. For years, Trevor stayed silent while Meghan's version of their story shaped public perception, and that silence is now being re-examined as something far more meaningful. A close friend of his reportedly said, now it's his turn, and he's got receipts. And that one statement alone has sent shockwaves through Meghan's camp, because if there's documented proof behind his claims, this could shift the narrative even further, and her team knows it. Behind the scenes, Meghan's legal team is said to be in full panic mode, scrambling to figure out how to contain what might come next. They're reportedly looking into every possible option to block future interviews, media appearances, or publishing deals Trevor could pursue. But here's where things get complicated. Without a formal NDA in place from their past relationship, their legal power to stop him is extremely limited. And while the legal drama is intense on its own, what's even more striking is how dramatically public opinion is shifting right now. Meghan, who was once celebrated as a bold outsider challenging a powerful institution, is now facing waves of skepticism and, in some cases, outright criticism. The tone of the conversation has changed, and it's happening fast. Trending hashtags are spreading like wildfire, with phrases suggesting that Trevor is telling the truth, gaining serious traction online. Thousands of users are not just reacting, they're actively supporting him, praising not only what he said, but the way he delivered it. Many are pointing out that he stayed silent for years and only spoke up now, which to them adds weight to his words. One viral post summed up the mood perfectly, saying Trevor stayed quiet for years and that silence showed class, but now that he's speaking, people believe there's truth behind it. That kind of sentiment is spreading quickly, and it's shaping how the public is interpreting everything unfolding right now. This isn't being treated like just another celebrity scandal. It's starting to feel like something deeper, something bigger. Meghan's entire post-royal identity has been built on carefully shaped narratives, positioning herself as misunderstood, as someone who stood up against powerful systems, and as a voice for those who felt unheard. But Trevor's story doesn't come from tabloids, anonymous insiders, or distant observers. It comes from someone who knew her before any of that existed, before the titles, before the spotlight, before the global attention. That's what's making his words hit differently. And because of that, her current silence is being interpreted in ways she may not have expected. Instead of coming across as strategic or controlled, it's starting to feel suspicious to some observers. Her legal threats, which might have once signaled confidence, are now being viewed by critics as signs of pressure or even desperation. And as all of this unfolds, the image she worked so hard to perfect is starting to show visible cracks in real time. There's no denying that Meghan's rise to global recognition involved a mix of talent, timing, and opportunity. But if Trevor's account is accurate, then there may be another side to that journey that hasn't been fully explored until now. People are starting to piece together a possible pattern, one involving reinvention, calculated moves, and strained relationships left behind. And what's making the situation even more intense is the growing rumor that other voices could step forward soon. If more people from her past decide to speak out, the pressure could multiply quickly, and public patience is already wearing thin. The environment right now is one where every new claim gets amplified instantly, and the spotlight isn't dimming anytime soon. For those who have followed Meghan's story over the years and felt like something didn't fully add up, this moment feels like validation. Many are saying they had questions before but didn't have enough information to form a clear opinion, and now they feel like they're finally seeing a fuller picture. And they're not alone in that feeling. It's spreading across platforms and discussions everywhere. Trevor Engelson's statements are no longer just headlines. They're being seen as a crack in a narrative that's been carefully maintained for years. What people once accepted at face value is now being re-examined with fresh eyes, and that shift is powerful, because once doubt enters the conversation, it doesn't just disappear, it grows. Now the conversation is changing direction completely. It's no longer just about whether Meghan's story was polished. It's about how much of it might still be hidden beneath the surface. People are asking bigger questions now. Questions about who else might have stories to tell, who might have stayed silent, and what else hasn't come to light yet. And with Trevor finally breaking his silence, the focus is shifting to what happens next. Because if this is only the beginning, then the real story might still be unfolding right in front of everyone. The tension, the speculation, the curiosity, it's all building, and it's not slowing down. So now all eyes are watching closely, waiting to see who speaks next, what gets revealed next, and how this entire situation evolves from here. Because one thing is clear, the narrative is no longer fully controlled, and once that door is open, it's hard to close it again. If you've been keeping up with this story and want to stay updated as everything continues to unfold, make sure you hit that like button, drop your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Turn on notifications too, because things are moving fast and the next reveal could drop at any moment. Right here on Star Spotlight, we're digging into the details, breaking down every development and bringing you the stories people are talking about, but not always. Hearing in full. Stay locked in because this story is far from over and the truth is getting louder every single day.